Hello and welcome to my tiny tarot practice. I'm Amelia Fruby, and on this show, I've journeyed through the tarot card by card, now finishing with the final card in the major arcana. This season of the show was sponsored by Tarot for Creative Spirits by Cecily Saylor, and today we end with the World. In the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the tarot, the World card depicts a person at the center. They're wrapped in a piece of blue or lavender fabric and holding a wand in each hand, which looks just like the wand the magician held. They're surrounded by a beautiful green wreath that has two red sashes around the top and bottom that feel like they represent infinity symbols. And each corner of the card depicts a different image. In the upper left, we have a person, in the right, an eagle, in the lower right, a lion, and in the lower left, a bull. This figure at the center of the card is often called the dancer. And in that, I always think of this card as the world dancer, as the one who dances among and between worlds. And it invokes this motion, this movement, this reminder that throughout the tarot, there has never been a static moment. Every card captures a glimpse of our experience, but we have to understand them in their fullness. And this is a card of fullness, of completion, of arriving at that moment where it feels like everything integrates, even that deep reckoning that we felt with the Judgment card that came right before this. And so we can pause here and experience that felt sense of satisfaction, completion, success. But this too is also only a moment in the larger movement of our lives. I love how Rachel Pollack speaks to this movement in 78 Degrees of Wisdom, where she writes, "Everything in the universe moves. The earth around the sun within the galaxies in clusters, all cycling around each other. There is no center, no place where we can say, here it all began, here it all stops. Yet the center exists everywhere. For in a dance, the dancer does not move around any arbitrary point in space, but rather the dance carries its own sense of unity focused around a constantly moving, constantly peaceful center. Nothing and everything all at once." And that final line there then, of course, also reminds me of the film Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the way that that film charts this multi-generational journey of reckoning and healing. And I think that that is one way to understand the tarot, as an ancestral journey of reckoning and healing, one that takes us perhaps through the many generations of our experience and also through the many levels of our lives. We've talked many times here about the conscious, subconscious, and collective conscious levels of this journey. All of them are here in the world. And so when I pull this card in a reading, I step into wherever in my life I am feeling that sense of this is coming to fruition. And I remember that I can't hold on to that peak moment, but I can enjoy it. To be slightly meta, perhaps for a moment, that's how recording this episode feels for me. I have journeyed through each suit of the minor arcana. I have recorded episodes on every card in the major arcana. And now I get to the world, both to share reflections on the card, but also to be in this experience of having completed this journey with each of you. And it feels so triumphant to be recording this episode, and also in just a moment, I will hit stop and it will be done. And I will have some time to enjoy the release and the extension of this moment of success and satisfaction. But then I will move forward into different endeavors. I will most likely start another podcast and I will be the fool once again. I often think of the major arcana, as many tarot students do, as a circle. And so we start with the Fool and then we travel all the way through to the World, but the Fool and the World meet up again. And if you lay those two cards side by side, with the Fool on the left and the World on the right, you can actually see how the World looks at the Fool. And the Fool's looking away. And the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the deck, both of these cards are looking to the left, which means that the Fool's looking off toward their journey, but the World is looking toward the Fool. And I think that's just such a reminder that at the end, we are also always at the beginning. And that even when we come into the fullness of our experience, we, in some way, will always be a fool once again. And so as I complete this final episode of our 5th and final season of the show, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in to my tiny tarot practice. These episodes will always be here for you to explore as you study the tarot or interpret cards that you've pulled for yourself or others. I'll gently remind you that I recorded this as a fellow student of the tarot, as a lover of the tarot, but not as a tarot reader or a professional. I encourage you to seek out many of the wonderful practitioners out there if you would like a reading or deeper study. And in fact, of course, this season of the show has been sponsored by Cecily Saylor of Typewriter Tarot, and her book, Tarot for Creative Spirits, is a beautiful way to continue your study of these cards. And be sure to head to the show notes where there is a discount code exclusively for my Tiny Tarot Practice listeners. Once again, I thank you for joining me on this journey and in this moment of the world. It's a celebration for me, but also for you. If you've been following along with the show, we can all bask in this moment of everything coming to fruition. And I wish you the very, very best in whatever's next for you and your tarot practice.